Here, let's talk about all the games happened on December 8th. We had 13 games on Wednesday. The first game is the Sixers beat the Charlotte Hornets. I believe they beat them how many times straight? Like 15 times, 16 times straight. Hornets this year, I mean, with LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier, I think they could take one game. But unfortunately, the streak continues. Danny Green played 27 minutes. I mean, in category leagues, the defensive stats he's providing is decent enough, and he hit some threes. I think it's okay to roster or stream. Tobias Harris, 18 and 6, not the best game from him. And Joel Embiid, it's he after the last couple games, he's slowly making his way back to, he should be a top 10 player, but the efficiency has been an issue for him this year. In the last 2 weeks, 10th ranked player. Yep, that's where he should probably be. So he's gonna slowly make his way. And the buy low window is officially closed. Seth Curry playing well, a sell high, while Tyrese Maxey just at 26 minutes, and Shake Milton got 22. I still think Tyrese should be getting 30 minutes, but come on, guys, he's not gonna be a top 50 player. And the sell high window is closed. The problem with him is a lot of his value also coming in 9 categories is coming from his insane turnover, like low turnovers. It's like another Jeremy Lamb type of a situation a couple years ago, where Jeremy Lamb was a top 50 player, averaging like 0.8 turnovers. His best category in 9 categories is turnovers. That's when you know that he's a fraud. And if you can trade him for any top, even 60, 70 guy with a bunch of turnovers, it's worth it. Like counting stat-wise, he was scoring a bunch of points and assists, but with Joel Embiid back, those going to come down. And, let's say his efficiency stays, he's just going to be that maybe, 70, 80. But if you pound turnovers, if you ignore the turnovers, it's like 100, I think, rest of the season. But, at this point, you just got to hold. He's not a drop yet, obviously. Matisse Thybulle played just 21 minutes, and he hasn't been getting any defensive stats. I think it's okay to throw him on, to get rid of him. You can always pick him back again, if you need defense that week. For the Charlotte Hornets, everybody play over 40 minutes. And PJ was supposed to play close to 30, but he had 5 fouls trying to stop Joel Embiid. So that's fine. PJ's still a strong hold until, we'll see what happens when Mason Plumlee comes back. But, for this young Hornets team, they want to get out and run. So it might be a better idea to have PJ who can run the floor and can shoot the three pretty well. Had 3 blocks here, so can't complain. Kelly Oubre Jr., Cody Martin, I mean, they all posted huge lines, a sell high. Gordon Hayward, a sell high. I think from the beginning, I wanted to sell Gordon Hayward high. Any top 50 player, Gordon Hayward plus somebody for Anthony Edwards is, like try to get guys like that with good counting set and, number 1 or number 2 option on their team. So that would for sure secure your playing time. Good. Miles Bridges, not the best game, but top 40 player rest of the way, I think is realistic. The next game, the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Bulls. Bulls were without a couple of starters. They were without DeRozan, who was in safety protocol. They were without Caruso. So Derrick Jones Jr. started. He could be a defensive streamer, and Ayo Dosunmu could also be a streamer. Although he didn't do anything this game, I would probably prefer to stream somebody that I know is gonna, I don't know what he could bring to the table. To be honest, if you don't know what you're doing, you want just all around nice stats in category leagues or points leagues. The minutes is there in the short term at least. Zach LaVine, 22 points is fine, but bad efficiency everywhere. Like Zach LaVine this season, last 2 weeks is 41st ranked player. Zach LaVine. The thing about Zach LaVine is when you have Zach LaVine, because his weakness is steals and blocks, right? And I don't think usually people punt field goal, right? In early rounds, if you got like a Harden, you got to punt turnovers, or you punt free throws if you have a Giannis. With Zach LaVine, you probably want to punt. You don't want to punt steals, right? Because steals is very random, and blocks is also fine. So I don't know. Maybe his steal numbers would improve. Yeah. Lonzo Ball steals is coming in. 3 steals here again, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. Lonzo has been playing super well. The last 2 weeks, Lonzo Ball is the 17th ranked player. If you look at it, 13 points is not too crazy. 3.33 is a bit high. But 2.8 threes, 6 rebounds seems fine, 6 assists, 6.3 assists, 1.7 steals. I mean, everything seems fine except the 1.6 blocks. He might be a 0.8, 0.9 blocks guy. So top 30, top 35. Lonzo Ball is a guy that could be very up and down because his shooting split could go up and down. His defensive stats are always, the next year he could have a 0-0, right? So his value is going to be up and down, and if he's struggling, I would buy low. For now, I think just write it out. Just exciting fantasy player for sure. Troy Brown somehow got 27 minutes with everybody out. Troy Brown is a good steals guy. Had 1-2 steals in the block here, but let's not worry about him. Maybe you could stream him if you have no one else to go to. And I don't know if the Bulls' schedule, if they got a back-to-back, you could maybe think about streaming him. Cleveland Cavaliers, Lauri Markkanen, 27 minutes, 14 points and 2 threes and nothing else. He needs to be rostered, but I look at his numbers a lot of the time, just, he will give you 10 plus points, but everything else is really not there, and some threes. Evan Mobley is great. He is great. 16 points, 9 rebounds, good efficiency. He was struggling with his efficiency in the last 2 weeks. 2 steals and 5 blocks, really scary stuff. He's the 26th ranked player in the last 2 weeks. Mainly, a lot of his value coming from the 2.7 blocks. That's way too high. It's gonna come back down, like for the season average probably 2, but that's still making him like the top 40 player across 9 categories. He's a beast, and he's only gonna get better, I think. Jarrett Allen is just too good. I don't know if it's all it took is just Colin Sexton get hurt, and Jarrett Allen immediately took off. That was my impression. Maybe I was wrong. But with Colin Sexton gone, Darius Garland, that's expected, right? Because you think he's going to take on more usage, he's going to get more assists, all that type of stuff. But Jarrett Allen is taking off as well without Colin Sexton. In the last 2 weeks, he's the 2nd-ranked player. Well, first-ranked player is actually Terry Rozier. Only played 4 games. So you could argue we could ignore Terry Rozier, and he's the best player in the last 2 weeks. That is crazy. That is crazy. He's shooting 73.8% from the field with 12 attempts a game. Well, only 5 for 9 this game, but Jarrett Allen has been crazy on the season. Obviously, like a sell high, but would anybody give you a top 20 player for Jarrett Allen? If you can get the top 30 player back. Like, if you get him for Jason Tatum, for sure. But I don't know if anybody would do it. The guys like this, Jarrett Allen, Lonzo Ball, it's hard. It will be hard to trade them in category leagues. Just because, they're not first, second, or third option on the team. It's the other categories they're doing that helping their value. Isaiah Okoro, let's not worry about him. And Darius Garland, another good game, 24 points. Shot the ball pretty well, 6 assists and a steal with 3 threes. Ricky Rubio, just constantly providing the decent assists and steals. But this game, the minutes is a bit low, 23 minutes. I don't know what happened. Cedi Osman came in and played 22, but I don't think Cedi Osman went off 3 steals and 2 blocks somehow. But he's not going to do it again. But Ricky Rubio's minutes should be close to 30 than to 20. So let's just continue holding him strong and see where things go. The next game is the Washington Wizards beat the Detroit Pistons. Okay, final. This game went to overtime. This is scary stuff. Beal, Kuzma played well, had 26 points, hits a game winner. But Wizards, they should not be this bad. Well, they're still the 5th seed in the East, so that's kind of crazy to think about. KCP, 13. I mean, we could roster him. The minutes is there. He's hitting threes. He's getting steals. He's scoring some points. So those 3 categories are fine. If you want those, sure. Kyle Kuzma has been playing really well. Let's check out his ranking. Him playing really well, making a 79th ranked player in the last 2 weeks. That's totally fine. The efficiency could still be an issue. While 6 for 7 from the free throw line is great this game. 26 points, 4 threes. I think we could roster him. And Daniel Gafford, I think he left the game. He went crazy, 6 blocks in 27 minutes. This is why we've got to roster him, right? With this performance, you could just turn around your block category. Because on average, a team would block, I don't know our league, but majority of teams should be blocking like maybe 25 to 30 blocks a week. 6 blocks, that's 30% of your total blocks. That's a huge turnaround. 30% of your block. Imagine, I think, on average, let's say your team scores 600 points. 30% of 600 points is 180 points. Nobody's going to score 180 points, but somebody could block 6 shots. Miles Turner does it regularly. Not regularly, but in a season, I don't know, maybe 5 games he would have 6 blocks. I have to go back and check. But games like this is really, really huge for in-category leagues, that block, especially if you're on a tight block race. Good game for him. Bradley Beal, 25 points. But again, 5 for 8 from the free throw. Beal's free throw has been so bad in the last 2 weeks. Let's check out Beal. He's a 166 ranked player. He's shooting 72% on 5 attempts in the last 2 weeks, while getting just 0.5 steals and 0.1 block. He's going to be better than this and only hitting 0.9 threes. He only took 2 threes this game. He has been horrible. I don't think he could be a top 30 player, to be honest. For the whole season, of course. Starting at this point, maybe he could be a top 30, 40, even 50, because right now he's just giving us points and some assists and nothing else. I still think he's going to turn it around. But there's a chance he could finish around top 40, 50, Let's see what happens. The last 2 weeks he's 166. So let's wait and see. Maybe because things turn around pretty fast. Let's see. Spencer Dinwiddie played really well. Still struggle shooting the basketball, but 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. 2 steals is huge, and 7 assists is also very, very good. That's why we still want to hold him. He also has been horrible. They gotta improve. I think both of them gotta improve. While Montrezl Harrell, it's rough. 17 minutes. He was a huge sell high now. I would say he's even close to droppable. Some nights you still get 23 minutes. But if Daniel Gafford is playing well, he won't be getting that minutes. So, yeah. For Detroit Pistons, Saddiq Bey, horrible. And the minutes is also down this game. A lot of the minutes went to Trey Lyles. Again, if he pounding field goals, he's at the end of the day, he's still getting 30-plus minutes. But if he's your worst player, then you can move on. And he has been pretty horrible all year long. And Jeremy Grant, I think it's got to be a sell high. 14 for 15 from the free throw line. He's shooting 92% from the free throw line on 8.7 attempts in the last 2 weeks. Okay. Jeremy Grant, I'm really curious on what his free throw percentage over the years. So over the years, if my memory served me correctly, okay, you know what? Last year he actually shot it really well too. So he's just a great free throw shooter now. Like career-wise, he's a 71.7% free throw shooter. Last year he shot 84.5% on 6 attempts. He's doing it again this year. So you know what? That's fine. I just didn't realize he's such a good free throw shooter. And this season he's only shooting 41.6% from the field. So that's kind of crazy. Career-wise, when he was on in Denver, right? One year he shot 53% on Oklahoma City. Career-wise, he's a 45% field goal guy. But obviously circumstances have changed. Last year he was a 43%. So that makes him really, I'm just really curious where his rankings would be, to be honest. And he had 2 steals in the block. He has the potential to be top 40, top 50. But if things don't go well, he could be that top 80, 90. But I'll keep an eye on him. If you cannot get the top 30 player back, then just hold. Top 30 or 40, I think. But I'd rather much have like Anthony Edwards, obviously. this is a really great game from him. Isaiah Stewart, 30 minutes. Isaiah Stewart has been playing really, really well. For all the owners who held him through all the bad games, now he's returning the favor. Still in the block, 10 rebounds. This is just great. I mean, he's blocking shots pretty consistently. I would say he's grabbing rebounds pretty consistently. Give it the minutes. Now it depends on if he can do the other stuff. Killian Hayes just the 21 minutes. Weird. Frank Jackson got 30 minutes. Because Killian Hayes was probably horrible. So I think if you want assists and steals, you could still have him. And Kate Cunningham, decent game. With him, you got to pound field goals probably. Unless you got Jaron Allen. But he's really hurting your field goals pretty consistently every game. And he's such a high usage guy. 2 steals is nice. I mean, the peripheral stats are very nice from coming out from Kate. I'm pretty high on him. Bringing a diverse of categories. Let's go to the next game. The New York Knicks lost to the Indiana Pacers. Let's see. RJ, another strong game. Last time he had like 29 points with some defensive stats. This game again shot the ball super well. If you want to roster him, I think it's okay. He's gonna give you some points and threes with bad efficiencies. And this season, he really hasn't been getting any defensive stats either. I think on the season, he's averaging like 0.4 steals and 0.3 blocks, something like that. Those are not great. So I don't really want to hold him. If the Knicks got a good schedule coming up, you could stream him. Otherwise, I would really just leave him on the waiver. Julius Randle struggled with his shot, but did the other stuff. 2 steals and a block is good. 8 rebounds, 2 threes, and 4 from the free throw line. Taj Gibson. So Mitchell Robertson, Nerlens Noel was out. Mitchell Robertson still came off the bench. So maybe Tom Thibodeau thinks it's better for Mitchell Robertson to play with the backup unit. We don't know. But Taj Gibson is not somebody we want to touch. And Evan Fournier, with Kemba out of the rotation, what are we doing with Evan Fournier? I think he's a clear drop. Just absolutely zero upside, and you're way better off streaming that spot. Alec Burks, 30 minutes. So the minutes finally, no longer 35 minutes tonight. He's a must roster. While D-Rose and Emmanuel Quickly, you could stream them, but they're not must roster, in my opinion. And Mitchell Robinson is the guy we want to hold. He had a great game last time, like 11 points, 10 rebounds with like 2 steals and 2 blocks. This game, he still blocked 2 shots. I think just because the pure blocks along, I think we want to hold him. And let's look at Indiana Pacers. I mean, the news came out that they want to break up Sabonis, Turner, Caris LeVert. I think for all those guys, to be honest, they are. I don't see if they go to a different situation, they would improve fantasy wise. To be honest, unless they go to like Oklahoma City and they're by far the number 1 option. If they go to any decent team, I think they might take. They're not gonna be that much worse. I don't know if there will be a situation that will be much better, to be honest. So in terms of fantasy, I think it's best for them to just stay put. Chris Duarte, we could definitely pick him up because they want to rebuild, quote unquote, rebuild around him. I don't know. Because they tried to trade Caris LeVert, right? So Chris Duarte's got an obvious choice. Gonna get the minutes. He's gonna give you some points and threes, and some defensive, a little bit steals. If you want to pick him up, sure. I don't think that would be a too bad of idea. Sabonis, great game, and like if you can get equal value back, sure. Like I wouldn't hate it. Maybe somebody in your league thinks, or this is just my opinion. Somebody else think that Sabonis would be freed if he goes somewhere else. He will improve dramatically. Then sure. Same thing with Miles Turner. If he gets traded, I don't know. Is he gonna be better than where he is now? Like on the season, Miles Turner is a top 20 player. Yep, he is a 21st ranked player. So in that range, is he gonna be better? I don't know. Caris LeVert played well again lately. He's been playing well in just 27 minutes too. Had 4 turnovers, but we still want to hold him while Malcolm Brogdon have 5 assists and 3 steals. 3 steals are nice, and 16 points. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. They just, how many games in, they just want to break things up for the Pacers. Well, they are the 13th seed, so they're really struggling this season. over the years they've been a good regular season team. So I don't know what Rick Carlisle is doing or what's going on there. The next game, the Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Miami Heat. That's a surprise because they got everybody. The Bucks got everybody this game. Chris Middleton numbers while Giannis struggled pretty massively. I don't know what Miami Heat did to him this game. Maybe he just struggled himself. And 7 for 12 on the free throw line is also not great, but come on, you got to pound free throws with him in category leagues. Bobby Portis went off, 18 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks. A must roster guy, and maybe not a sell high anymore. Who knows when Brook Lopez is coming back, right? Who knows? And he's just been so solid every single game. Grayson Allen is a drop, just to 25 minutes. Could stream him for some threes. That's it. Jrue Holiday, great game. 27 points, a steal and a block. Offensively, he has it going. Now I'm just waiting for him to explode from a defensive perspective. 1 steal, 1 block. He could do better. But, 12 for 17, 27 points is really good. Pat Connaughton, you could stream him for points and threes. That's about it. And look at the Miami. I mean, a lot of guys are out. A lot of guys were out this game, and they will continue to be out. Caleb Martin, the Martin brothers, they're just such fantasy beasts. Had 2 blocks here. Usually Martin brothers, they're not going to score 28 points. But they provide solid enough peripheral stats, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. I think we could. Well, obviously we gotta check Jimmy Butler's status. If Jimmy Butler continues to be out, we can stream Martin. I don't think it will be too crazy to stream him next game. PJ Tucker, 2 steals, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, one of his best games. But I don't think we want to really roster him and doing that in just the 13 minutes. I think we could hold him for 1 more game because this game maybe due to matchup reasons they just didn't want to play him. I would hold him 1 more game and see what the minute looks like. If he still gets 20 minutes, I think we could drop it, right? But the guy still does. I still believe he has top 50 upside, especially if your team needs rebound and blocks. I think I want to hold him. If your team needs rebound blocks this week, for sure I want to hold him, because you're not gonna get a guy that coming and grab you 8 rebounds on a waiver wire. Maybe in your 12 team, maybe you have options there. Maybe Steven Adams is out there on the waiver wire. But Dwayne Dedmon can also offer decent blocks and steals as well. Duncan Robertson, I don't know why. Without everybody, he just played 20 minutes. I guess the bench guys were rolling. While Kyle Lowry, usage boost, yes. Try to sell him high, but it will be hard. So just ride it out. And Tyler Hero, only 28 minutes too. What's going on there? He had 7 turnovers. A lot of the minutes went to Max, Strauss, KZ, Gabe Vincent. I mean, some of the bench guys, I guess they were playing really well, and Coach Spoelstra just said, hey, gonna give those guys. Tyler Hero, 9 points. Not the best game, but the fact that he got a steal and a block, I think I'm happy with that. Let's go to the next game. This game was, I think, the Raptors tipping was waved off at the buzzer. Otherwise, Raptors would have won. Really close one. They lost by 73 points last week. Not bad, Beat the Raptors at Raptors. Oklahoma City, they're 8-16. In the, they won 2 straight, 2-8. I mean, they're gonna be one of the bottom teams. Same thing with this. They all have 8 wins with the Spurs. Rockets have won 7 straight, which is absolutely insane. But they're gonna be at the bottom teams in the Western Conference. Lou Dort continues to play well. I think he needs to be rostered. Just points and threes, super good, and the minutes is very secure. 38 minutes here. Darius Bazley, he's been playing much better late. He reduced his shot attempts. He's been getting a lot of defensive stats as well. We could stream him for blocks and rebounds, but just be careful his efficiency. But if he's not gonna take 10 shots a game, I think it's okay to stream him. Jeremy Robinson, he's a drop, just the 18 minutes. Josh Giddey, 31 minutes, had 4 rebounds, had a decent game. And Shea continues to struggle from the field, but 12 for 12 from the free throw line is really great. 2 rebounds, 9 assists, and a steal, 26 points. Shea has been playing better lately compared to the beginning of the season. Again, top. If I can trade Gordon Hayward plus somebody for Shea, Shea's ranking right now is not good, but I would absolutely do it. And for the Toronto Raptors, Scotty Barnes, the minutes is huge. I do think when OG, whenever he does come back, some of the starter minutes gotta come down. They're playing 38 minutes, you know. And I mean, actually, a lot of guys were out this game. Precious Achiuwa was out, so Chris Boucher came in and played 22 minutes. If if Cam Burge, if Precious Achiuwa continues to be out, we could for sure stream Chris Boucher, have really high upside due to his blocks. Scotty Barnes, sure, great. He's been taking threes. I think just out of nowhere, one game I checked his stat, he took 9 threes, and he wasn't taking any threes. And now every single game he took 7 threes this game. He made 2, which is all right. 8 rebounds, 5 assists. His ranking may not be the best, but I'm pretty high. I'm pretty high on Scotty Barnes. He can bring multiple categories. Well, he can bring it all. To be honest, there's not one. I mean, now that he shoots threes, right? Rebound, assists, steals, blocks, points, threes, everything. The whole package. Pascal Siakam, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 5. Had an okay game. Top 50 player. While Gary Trent, a big bounce back, being 24 points, 2 steals. He's just really good, this season at least. I think next season he's a guy, he could be a trap. You don't want to draft this guy. Like, ranking wise this season he's top 50. You do not want to take guys like this in the top 50. Probably I won't touch him until the 80th or 90th pick, depending on who Raptors got, right? If they have the same roster, I don't think I want to touch him anywhere near top 50, 60, or 70 even. Fred VanVleet, 19 points, 9 assists, a steal. Had an alright game. He took 20 shots, had 19 points. But with Fred VanVleet, probably it's best to pound field goals. Let's look at the next game. The Brooklyn Nets lost to the Houston Rockets. It was a back-to-back. KD was out. LaMarcus Aldridge was out. Harden against his former team, no revenge game. 4 for 16. Harden's field goal this year is being... I saw a stat on Reddit the other day, like Harden is shooting worse from the 3-point line and from the field than Russell Westbrook, which is crazy. Russell Westbrook, whenever he has a bad game, especially with his poor shooting split, always get posted everywhere. Everybody talks about Russ. But Harden has had a poor... Fantasy-wise, he's still okay. On the season, he is the a 9 category. He's a 7th ranked player. But if you pounding field turnovers, he's top 3, top 4, top 5. So he's still okay. I mean, he's not what we expect him to be, but he's not that much worse. Not like a Bradley Beal, right? So, but his poor shooting splits are going under the radar a little bit. I don't feel like it's being talked about enough. Another horrible shooting night, but everything else is fine. 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. Turnovers is going to be an issue. I don't think we worry too much. 25 points. And Patty Mills continues to be a streamer. And Claxton played just the 60 minutes. He could be a streamer moving forward, provide some rebounds and blocks. James Johnson and DeAndre Bembry started. Both just played 18 minutes. Majority of the minutes went to Cam Thomas. This guy can score a bunch. 32 minutes. But he's not really fantasy relevant at this point. But he can come in and score a bunch of points. And the rest of the Brooklyn guys, they all play pretty horrible. And the Rockets, they're unstoppable. 7-game winning streak. And they're doing without Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Gray. And scary stuff. Garrison Matthews might be their best player. Really, when he got inserted into the starting lineup, so it could be a couple of things, right? At first we thought it would be Jalen Green or maybe Daniel Theis. Maybe a couple. Maybe it's not one thing, but I think Garrison Matthews has contributed to winning the most. He's been playing pretty well. 3 steals and a block, 19 points. Took 11 threes. Scary stuff from him. I think for sure, if he's out on the wheel run, we gotta grab him and just see what happens. It's very possible when Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green come back, he won't be getting 30 minutes. Maybe come off the bench, get 20 to 25. We'll see. It's for sure is a possibility. and I don't think you're gonna trade him for anything. Jayshawn Tate had a crazy game last week, an okay game here. Christian Wood, 12 points, 15 rebounds, and still 3 blocks. Struggled with his shot, but with everybody out, he's been really good. Last couple weeks, if you're pounding free throws, of course. I mean, without pounding free throws, he's 21st ranked player, and he's doing it. I think without the free throws, 65% from the free throw line. He's got to be a top 10 player. With if we don't look at the free throws, fully back on track. Really good stuff. I thought, before the 7-game winning streak, people were saying maybe Wood's just not that good. He just had flashes. But maybe he's just got to be in the right system, put him in the position to success. Armani Brooks started. We could also stream him in the short term with all the guards out. Eric Gordon, same thing. We could stream him. We don't know when Kevin Porter Jr. and Emperor Şengün, 14 minutes here. Silas just refused to play this guy high minutes. So if you wanna, stash him, it will be tough. I just at this point I don't see a scenario. I think it would take an injury, really, a Christian Wood injury for him to. Even when Christian Wood was out for that one game, he didn't get huge minutes, so I don't really see any hope. Maybe all it takes is a trade, to be honest. The next team, the Mavericks, beat the Grizzlies. Grizzlies was rolling. They were rolling, and the Mavericks, Doncic was coming in questionable. He played decent game, and there were reports saying he was totally out of shape. And I could see it. He was chubby last year. I mean, this year, if you just look at his face, I don't know what he did. He did play in the Olympics and then just, I guess, let himself go before the training camp. 26 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal. He should improve as the season goes on, for guys that are out of shape coming in. But, 9 turnovers is not good. But for Luka Doncic in category leagues, he's never going to be top 10. Unless he starts shooting free throws better, getting those defensive stats, right? It's like a Trae Young situation, too many weaknesses in category. But if you're punting a field, then for sure. In points league, he's a beast. Dwight Powell, Reggie Bullock, let's not worry about him. Although Reggie Bullock finally had a great game, still in the block, 15 points, but pretty washed. Porzingis played 23 minutes with 5 personal fouls, but as long as he's playing and healthy, I don't think we can complain. Dorian Finney-Smith, we could stream this guy for defensive stats. That's about it. And Maxi Kleber came in, played 18 minutes, had 2 blocks. He's not the guy that we want to touch, I think, in the short term. He was getting 30 minutes last week, didn't really do anything, and now everybody back. His minutes are all the way down. Jaylen Brown had 7 assists. I was worried, Jaylen Brunson only got 22 minutes. This game, 34 minutes. Let's just continue roster him and ride it out. For the Grizzlies, Dylan Brooks, the field goal, never good, 39%, and he only attempted 3 threes too. So a lot of twos missing. 2 steals, 15 points, still good. Jaren Jackson continues to play super well. 26 points, 2 threes, 7 rebounds, still in 2 blocks. He's such a beast. And if he can just limit his fouls, again, 5 fouls here, he'll be great. Steven Adams, 9 rebounds and 2 steals and nothing else. Desmond Bane, the shooting finally fall off. He's still a must-roster guy. I think I want to trade him. Him plus somebody for a top 50 player. Him plus somebody for Bradley Beal maybe. Although, if the owners still think Bradley Beal is going to be a first-round guy, it will be tough, right? Tyus Jones is a must-roster until Ja Morant comes back. 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals is really good. And DeAnthony Melton got 25 minutes. Decent game. I don't think he's a must-roster, to be honest. But we could stream him in the short term. Because when Ja Morant comes back, right now maybe. But even now, he's not getting consistent 25 minutes. The next game, the Jazz beat the crap out of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Donovan Mitchell has been really good. 5th ranked player. I say how high, but what can you really get? I think one thing is, if you're not punting field goals, try to sell him for a top 20 player that inside the top 20 that, are good field goals guys. If you're not pounding field goals, right? You could maybe try him plus somebody for Paul George, maybe. Him plus like a top 100 guy for Paul George, or Jaylen Brown always gets hurt, so that makes his value hard to evaluate because you just know he's gonna miss a bunch of games. But yeah, like if you got Donovan Mitchell right now and you're worried about him hurting your field goal, I think you could try to trade him. That's a crazy good efficiency. Obviously, it's not sustainable. He's going to be up and down. Mike Conley, 24 minutes. The minutes are low because it was a blowout. Like if he plays well, sell him. Older guards, I'm usually not the biggest fan of them. Although he's been proving me wrong this year. He's been pretty solid. Efficiency-wise, getting in the assists and steals. Rudy Gobert, just the one block shot, so that's a bit disappointing. Royce O'Neal, man, he's been playing well. Did not miss a shot again. 9 points, 7 assists even. He's not going to do this. If you can get him for any value, sure. Otherwise, you could pick him up and just write it out. Bogdanovic, 21 points and 4 threes and nothing else. Just Bogdanovic numbers. Some of the bench guys got a few more minutes because it was a blowout. But nothing else really changed. Nothing really changed. For the Timberwolves, Jared Vanderbilt, the minutes is pretty consistent for him. He provides really good, only 4 rebounds here, but usually he grabs 8-9 rebounds and some defensive stat. He's still a must roster after this game. And it was a blowout, so the minutes is, a bit low. Jaden McDaniels got a few extra minutes. Karl-Anthony Towns played 22 against Rudy Gobert. I don't think Rudy Gobert, Cat can just be on the perimeter. And I'm surprised he only took 4 threes, considering Rudy Gobert was guarding him. But overall, an okay game from Cat. And Anthony Edwards, 18, 5, and 1 steal, 4 threes. Misses free throws. Anthony Edwards, the problem with him is the efficiency. If he can improve his efficiency, he's a top 30, top 25 guy in the years to come. Counting stat-wise, it's already there. Like his counting stats you can take his counting stats and compare to anybody, and you'd be like, it's not too bad. Unless you compare him to Jokic or Steph, but like the other top 10 players, you look at, okay, it's just efficiency, I think, for him to make the next jump in fantasy. Patrick Beverley came back. We could pick him up if we want to have some rebound, assist, steals, and blocks. He's not going to do anything else, but those peripheral stats he's didn't do those things this game, but we could pick him up. And Malik Beasley was a minus 29, 26 minutes. If D'Lo continues to be out, D'Lo was out this game, we could continue streaming Malik Beasley for points and threes. But as soon as D'Lo comes back, I think we gotta get rid of him. And let's talk about the next game. We still got 4 games left. The Denver Nuggets beat the New Orleans Pelicans. Denver Nuggets, the minutes, Aaron Gordon, 43 minutes. 2 steals and a block. I will take it. Aaron Gordon is a must-roster guy despite the bad efficiencies and not getting a lot of defensive set or score. But the minutes is there. I think we got to roster him. Jeff Green, minutes is good, but what is he doing? 1 block. I think we want to roster him, but games like this just makes you wonder. He only took 6 shots too. How much value can he really bring us? I think every once in a while he'll break out, but most of the time he's not going to do much. Jokic, great efficiency from the field, but 5 for 9 from the free throw line, but still a triple-double and a block and a steal. But the block numbers, if I had to nitpick here, he's the second-ranked player on the season, but for the season, averaging just 0.7 blocks. If he can get that up to 1, maybe he could chase Curry, right? In my opinion, I still prefer over Curry, and he's only shooting 73%. So if the free throw become 80, the blocks become 1, then him and Curry will be much closer. And if Curry's efficiency fall off, Curry's averaging 1.7 steals. That might be a little bit high. But Warriors collectively, getting off topic here, but Warriors collectively, their defense have been great. So maybe the 1.7 steals for Steph is sustainable. Will Barton, great game. He's gonna be up and down. If you can trade him for a top 50 player, I would maybe do a 2-for-1 for a top 50. Play 41 minutes here. Monty Morris, 3 steals. The steals are coming in, but so little assists, to be honest. 2 assists here. And Campazzo, we know what to do with him. We could stream for assists and steals. For the Pelicans, Herbert Jones, wow, 38 minutes. I think he's a must roster in the short term. When Zion comes back, God knows when, he's gonna get, like, all the starters need to be rostered for sure. Like Josh Hart, Brett Ingram played well, 4 steals, 16 points. Like, who cares? Brett Ingram is about the defensive stats. I think the other counting stats are fine. The efficiency should be okay. 4 steals here is a good start, but I don't think he's gonna do it again this season. I don't think. Valanciunas is great, and who knows, Zion. We saw the picture of Zion. He's not in game shape. He looks super chubby. How much is he? It was like 320 as a 6'7" guy. I don't know if he plays. He might just get hurt real quick. Not in game shape. I don't want it. Maybe another Jaren Jackson, and they have nothing to play for as well. So not really good with Zion owners. It's tough. You got IR. You just got to continue to hold. Valanciunas in the meanwhile is great. Again, can get top 30. Otherwise, hold. Josh Hart is a must roster. He was out for a couple of games, but Pelicans they don't have a lot of bodies on the season. Josh Hart is the not great actually, just a 100 player, 101. But I think it's the fact that he's not even ranking in the last 2 weeks. But the counting stat wise is really good. He really improved his assist as well. He's averaging 4 assists this year, and 0.9 steals and 0.4 blocks. He can probably improve that. And yeah, he's a must roster. He's a must roster. Now that he's getting us 3-4 assists, the counting stat very, very solid. He can hit threes, grab rebounds, assist, steals, and blocks. He can do it all. Devontae Graham, also a must roster, but he's field goal wise, it's gonna be rough. And what do we do? What we gonna do with Nickeil Alexander-Walker? They just prefer to give those backup minutes to either Herbert Jones or Josh Hart. Like, these guys are playing huge minutes. So it's tough. He still put up an okay line this game, 15 points. If you want to drop him, I think it's okay. Personally, I still want to hold him. I think it could change. He's just got to start playing better, and then he'll get more minutes. I think the coach is just, if you play well, I'll give you more minutes. The next game, Portland lost to the Warriors. No surprise. They were without everybody. Damian Lillard, we don't know when. I mean, the report saying he could be back this weekend. But until he comes back, Dennis Smith Jr., we got to stream him. Really strong game. 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and still in 2 blocks. And as a little guard, he can block shots, right? Very, very aggressive on the defensive end. Norman Powell, in the meanwhile, should have a very, very high usage. 26 points, but no rebounds. 5 assists and a steal. Try to sell high on him. Top 50 player. Try to sell him for any top 50 player. Jusuf Nurkic. He fouled out in 28 minutes. And considering that playing the Warriors, I'm surprised he even got 28 minutes. Before he fouled out, it was an okay game. 13 rebounds and 6 assists. He also should have a usage boost. Robert Covington, 35 minutes, didn't do anything. A steal and 6 rebounds. Very, very disappointing with him this season. Especially the defensive stats. Nasa Little started. We could stream him for some defensive stats. But I think there's probably better options out there. For the Warriors, I'm surprised it's that close, to be honest. Andrew Wiggins, 14 points, a steal, okay game, and Draymond. This is a typical Draymond game. 10 point, free throw is bad this game, but he shouldn't go to the line this much. Anyways, 1 for 5, 8 assists, a steal and a block, decent game, I think. Kevon Looney, he keeps starting, keep getting 70, 80 minutes. I don't know. And Jordan Poole didn't shoot the ball well, but he did the other stuff. He still had 20 points, went to the free throw line 9 times. Again, with Jordan Poole, what we want to do is try to sell him for a top 60. He's 64th ranked player. Try to sell him for a top 60 guy. Otherwise, just hold. I think Clay is gonna impact him, but I think it's not. He's not gonna get impacted that much. I think, in my opinion, 20 points here, 3 steals and a block is pretty good, to be honest. All those defensive stats. And Curry struggled with his shot again. 22 points, not the best game. Not the best. He's fallen off a little bit, but on the season he's still the over one. But I would still take Jokic over Curry. That's just me. As I said many times, I believe. And all the bench guys, Otto Porter got 26 minutes, but the Warrior bench guys, their minutes are inconsistent, right? One day Otto Porter come in and play 26. One day Toscano Anderson play 26 minutes. So it depends on the matchup, depends on who's playing well. So let's not stream them because they're just too inconsistent. Let's go to the next game. We got 2 more games. This game Magic lost to, wow, this game was crazy. 130, 142, absolutely zero defense being played. Magic got 2 steals and, well, I guess 5 blocks because Mo Bamba. And I guess Kings got 8 steals. But looks like no defense was played in this game. Franz Wagner, solid enough. I think if you can sell him for any top 70, if you can sell Franz Wagner plus somebody for Jordan Poole, I would do it. Because we just talked about Poole. Wendell Carter Jr. also played well. If you can trade, well, consider Wendell play well, you're not going to do that trade. 36 minutes. The minutes is also very, very good for Wendell this game. 19. He's a very, very solid rebounder. But everything else is up and down. Mo Bamba, just the 28 minutes, but blocked 4 shots. Mo Bamba is solid. Don't trade him for top 60 player. You know, if you can get a top 40, 50 player, sure. But again, all his value coming from blocks. And if you don't want the blocks, you could trade him to some other team if you don't want the blocks. He does offer decent rebound as well, of course. But he's not a good field goal guy as a big man because he shoots a lot of threes. So it's just 2 categories with blocks, you know, one of the top 5 shot blockers in the league. I don't think, yeah, it's him, Rudy Gobert, Jared Jackson Jr. and Miles Turner. I mean, those 5, I think those are the 5 block guys in the league. Well, now Yvonne Mobley is also blocking a lot of shots. Garrett Harris, I think we could stream him. 16 points. The minutes has been, you know, in the 30s. We could stream him in the short term. Cole Anthony went off, but everybody played well. I mean, in the scoring column this game. 6 threes and Lakers and no defense played. Cole Anthony was a buy low after this game. Sure. Markelle Fultz is going to be back eventually. Jalen Suggs is going to be back. But Cole Anthony should be the number 1 option moving forward. But maybe his usage will take a hit. Well, we're going to have to wait and see. But Cole Anthony, if you can get a top 30 guy back, sure. Otherwise, just hold, I think. For the Kings, Terrence Davis has been getting, you know, decent minutes. But it's very curious, the guards' minutes, right? Buddy Hield only getting 17 minutes, while Donovan Mitchell he was getting 20 and 30, now he only gets 24. If you want to take a flyer on Davis, sure. Yeah, he does have the upside. He does have decent upside. So, you know. And Harrison Barnes he's been back this game. So I'll pick him up and see where things go. Rochelle Holmes only played 10 minutes. Had an injury, left the game. Don't think it's too serious. Maybe he missed a game or 2. Harrison Barnes come back, played all right. 16 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. And Tyrese Haliburton, this is why we love him. 18 points, 11 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Man, what a monster. Haliburton. 33rd ranked player in 9 category leagues. And for the season, 39th. I mean, he's not going to score a lot of points. He's not going to grab a lot of rebounds either. But 5.7 assists. 5.5. He's gonna average 5.5 assists. Why not? He's gonna average 1.7, 1.8 steals. Maybe that's a little bit high, but 1.5 should, he should be a 1.5 steals guy, and 0.8 he can block shots, and efficiency wise, he's gonna be great. He's not gonna turn the ball over a lot either. Really, really good stuff. On the other hand, De'Aaron Fox had a great game, but Fox has been horrible this year. Even if you punting free throws, I think you gotta punt all three for him to be top 40, maybe. 33 points, a steal and a block. Really good game here. Maybe he will turn things around. I don't know. At Sacramento, things are not, going so well. And I don't think we want to touch any of the Marvin Bagleys or Tristan Thompsons. They have absolutely zero upside. And the minutes is not secure. Rashawn Holmes is the only big man on this team will get consistent 28 to 30 minutes. Everybody else's minutes is up and down. And finally, let's talk about the last game of the night. The Boston Celtics. Paul George didn't play this game. And Celtics still lost. Consider this game wasn't a away game, but this is not good. By far their best player didn't play. Kawhi Leonard obviously out, and they still lost. Jason Tatum, gotta give credit to Coach Lue, I suppose. 29 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals. I mean, he's back. He's back. Top 20 player per game basis. Al Horford, no defensive stat this game, but just super solid. Super solid. He won't hurt you anywhere. Good rebound, 7 assists here. And most games he will add a block or two and some steals as well. Robert Williams had a horrible game, minus 17. That's why he's a buy low, I think. He should also be blocking 2 shots a game. But the minutes is a concern. Not minutes is a concern. The fouls. Commit too many fouls. Let's try buy low. But he's a guy that when you buy low, you got to be a little bit careful. What you want to trade away, right? Because, big man, very unique, right? Rebounds, blocks, not very unique. The categories are very clear. The strength and the weakness is very clear. So when you trade him, make sure, that's the direction you want to go. Marcus Smart, 37 minutes. Super great. Maybe a sell high, but I don't know. 4 steals, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Really, really solid numbers from Smart. Jaylen Brown is out, but I think Smart, majority of his value is coming from the assists and, the defensive stats. But every time I look over Smart lately, he's been, just the 80th ranked player. But averaging 2 steals, which is nice, but only 0.1 blocks. He's a guard that could block you 0.5, give you 0.5 blocks a game. But yeah, he's mainly a 2-category guy, the assists and the steals. Dennis Schroeder, with Jaylen Brown out. Jaylen Brown is so, if I own Jaylen Brown, I'm gonna try to sell him high if he comes back and plays well. Hamstring issues are no joke. If you rush back, you could, injure it again, and your season is pretty much done, right? Harden last year pulled his hamstring. Rest, I remember because I had him. He rested for like a week and a half, came back, played 1 game or 2. Pulled his hamstring, and he never came back until the playoffs, and he was horrible in the playoffs. So there is that. So Jaylen Brown, if he came back, had a good game, you gotta try to sell him, and I wouldn't buy low on Jaylen Brown at all. Josh Richardson, I might be wrong though. Josh Richardson, 17 points, had an okay game. Like if Jaylen Brown continues to be out, we could stream Josh Richardson, but he's not providing too exciting stats. And on the Clippers, Batum came back. If you want to stream him, sure. I don't think I want to roster him for. Marcus Morris, he's been playing really well. 20 points. I think that makes him almost a not must roster, but I think we should roster him. Obviously, Paul George was out, but he had like 20 points game. He had a bunch of 20-point games. So I think I like him. Zubac play high minutes this game. I think he like I said, if you need rebound efficiency, he could be rostered. And once doing 4 blocks here. Scary stuff. Let's roster him. He's playing really well. And Terrence Mann started, had 10 rebound and a steal. But yeah, next game you could just go back into 20 minutes. And Reggie Jackson really destroyed your field goal. 6 for 22. With Reggie Jackson, your field goal is going to take a big hit. And no defensive stats again. And Eric Bledsoe, now is the job, guys. Now is the job. But in 20 minutes, he had 4 assists and 3 steals. We could stream him for defensive stats, but I think at this point, there are just better options. For sure, there are better options, and he's only playing 20 minutes a night. And Paul George, it was a late scratch. Not a late scratch, like he was questionable but didn't play, but it shouldn't be a serious issue. Maybe he misses one more game, but that's about it. And that's it, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.